I finally went and picked up my new Belgian Malinois puppy. And let me tell you, this day was way more eventful and stressful than I ever could have imagined. Let's get into it. You see, I've been working very closely with and learning from Andy Kruger for quite some time now. And seeing what he does with his dogs in French ring, I just couldn't resist. So I set out to try to find the perfect puppy to get into this new sport. He recommended me a very experienced breeder, and luckily he had a litter coming in just a few months. So I put in my deposit and the wait begins. See, I don't want just any dog. I need the right dog. And I couldn't be any more lucky with the way the events unfolded. All right, it is 7 a.m. and it is like 40 degrees outside. This is definitely the coldest day of the year so far. I am headed out to Stronghold K9, about an hour and 40 minutes away. Very tired, and we're gonna pick up our new Belgian Malinois puppy. But I think I need to get some food on the way and maybe some coffee and try to wake up a little bit, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm definitely a little out of it right now. See, the breeder is actually located all the way down in Georgia. And I was planning on having to drive all the way from Indiana down to Georgia to get this puppy and have to travel all that way. But it turns out Bebo, the breeder, Andy, my mentor, and tons of other handlers and decoys from all over the place were already converging on Stronghold K9 in Milan, Indiana, so they could train up for the French Ring Championship in Columbus, Ohio next weekend. Since everyone was gonna be there anyways, Bebo just brought the puppies along with, and we were all gonna select our specific puppies from there. And I originally thought that when I did go to pick up my puppy, I was gonna be completely on my own because Andy was gonna be at this training event. But the day before I set out to go do the pickup, Andy texted me and asked me if I was gonna be at Stronghold K9 the next day. And of course, I was. So it all worked out perfectly, and just by happenstance, he was gonna be there to help me select the perfect puppy. The plan was simple. I wake up super early, I drive an hour and 40 minutes to Milan, Indiana, and at 9 a.m., I select my new puppy and leave. But there was a problem. I didn't get first pick on this litter. The guy who owns the stud dog gets first pick. And we got a text at 9:30 in the morning saying he hadn't even left Michigan yet. My heart sank. All this anticipation, and now I was gonna have to wait for this guy to make a 5.5-hour drive, and then he might pick the best puppy out of the litter. I've been planning this for months, and I'm not gonna be able to accept anything but the absolute best for my ring dog. But at this point, I really didn't have a choice. I kind of sat and sulked for a minute, and I already had my eyes on the puppy that I liked the best, but I had to just let it all go. When I finally came out of feeling sorry for myself, I looked around and realized that I'm at a huge training event where people are preparing for the French Ring Championship, and I immediately felt a lot better. So I decided to go up to the field and try to learn as much as I possibly could. There was decoys and world-class handlers everywhere, and I needed to sit and try to soak in as much as I can and ask as many questions as I possibly could. Sitting around talking to these guys and asking them about their careers in the sport and their different philosophies and what they like in their dogs really gave me a lot of perspective. And looking back, I'm actually glad that I didn't just show up, pick my puppy, and turn around and head home. With all this action, the wait ended up feeling quite short. And before I knew it, the guy who had the first pick showed up, and I started to feel that nervous feeling again. I sat and held my breath as I watched him go through each puppy and try to decide on the one that he wanted. He made his decision, and it wasn't the puppy that I had my eye on. I didn't say a word though, because now it was time for Andy to evaluate all these puppies and help make a decision for me. And I didn't want to bias him in any way, because when it comes to ring dogs, he's the guy who needs to make the decision. He went through each of the male puppies one by one, testing the bite, the environmentals, overall attitude of the dog, and he actually remained pretty quiet throughout this entire process, which made me even more nervous. But after all the puppy testing was done, and we'd seen all of them work, he leans over to me and the only thing he has to say is gray collar. Without talking about it beforehand, Andy had come up with the same puppy that I had in mind. So I signed the contract, handed over my envelope full of cash, and jumped in my truck to embark on the next chapter of my journey with my new Belgian Malinois puppy, Tommy Gun. The ride home almost didn't even feel real. It was about an hour and 40 minutes, but it honestly felt like 15. He did have an accident in the crate on the way home, so I stopped at a random McDonald's and had to pull him out and clean up the mess. But other than that, it was pretty smooth. And when I finally got home and opened that crate door, I saw my new little puppy's face, and all I could think about is taking him all the way to French Ring 3. This is only the beginning. And the next few weeks are definitely going to be wild. And I can't wait to bring you guys along every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Ow, ow!